Oh my gosh, look at this. This looks really cool. Okay, so this is the first time I'm filming like this way. And I'm gonna reassess it later and see what we need to do. But anyway, look, I'm here to talk about, well, here's what it is, right? Don't let anyone define you. They don't know you. And so I'm gonna cover like a lot of things about this, okay? Because I'm gonna tell you guys why I disappeared off the planet and why I stopped giving a fuck and why I'm I've I'm changing and why I continue to change and why you don't see me anymore, why I'm not showing up. And yet I am showing up a lot more in my life. And most of all, how this ties in with you, because really my life is dedicated to discovering an authentic sense of meaning, purpose. And I'm also very committed and dedicated to preserving virtue. There's so much to this, and I think that the reason why I've titled the video "Don't Let Anyone Define You, They Don't Know You" is because like this really has so much to do with your relationships. And labels are very difficult for me to use because like the moment that I use a label, now people want to like, and this is like why you're not seeing me anymore, is because like I am very tired of being misunderstood. And so it makes me not want to speak at all. And I am also very tired of the fact that I have lived in a war my entire life. And it's something that you rarely hear me speak of. And primarily, like the reason why I began speaking about any of my life experiences at all on YouTube is for your benefit. Because when people would hear me teach, they'd be like, oh, whatever, she's so beautiful. She was born with a silver spoon in her mouth. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I guess people need to know the truth. But like, nobody likes to hear anybody bitch, you know? So like, that's not the point, you know? I don't really talk about myself like that. But here's why it's so important. This whole don't let anyone define you, they don't know you. Like you just have to be yourself. Because if you think about what other people want or expect of you or what other people are going to think, like this whole train of thought throws you off and makes you incapable of like being whatever it is that you need to be in order to exist and like be yourself. And that is an essential component of existence, is like being your authentic self. And if you're not able to do that, you are going to feel the tragedy of your own death in that very moment that you are not able to authentically, genuinely live and thrive and follow your joy and just be like candid in the moment. And how many moments like that are we having all of the time? So many moments where essentially like what is your life energy is being drained. And the what's even more tragic about that is how we call that normal human existence, and how humans call this reality. Like, oh, reality is synonymous with everything that sucks. Reality is synonymous with being betrayed. Reality is synonymous. This is the human thought. Okay, I don't agree with this. Like, I don't agree with this at all. But the human idea is like reality is synonymous with being unhappy and being sick and being tired and being abused and being traumatized. And this is just life, and it happens over and over, and it's inescapable. And life is heartbreak, and life is, you don't get what you want or what you deserve. Life is you're not treated with worth and value. Life is you're not safe. Life is you need to be paranoid because you can't trust anything. Life is all the things that suck. And I'm like, I so disagree. And it's not that my experience of life has not been that, because I literally was born in war, and like it never changed. It never changed. And the very interesting thing about that is that I have an extraordinary amount of trouble comprehending the fact that people do not understand me because, you know, you only see through the eyes of your own existence, right? You only see through the eyes of your own perception. And I only know myself. I only know what I think. I only know my, you know, the way that my mind and my emotions and my intentions and my motivations are wired. I only know how I treat people and how I react and behave in situations and what I do and what I would do and what I normally do and what I intend to do. That's all I know is me, like my own reality, my internal reality. And so we automatically paste our own internal realities onto other people, thinking that that must be their internal reality as well, because that's all that we know. So we just automatically project that onto other people. And this is like a really good tell if you're dealing with someone who is not trustworthy or dishonest, like they'll be showing you how they don't trust the world. And I have difficulty with this because, like, it's become extraordinarily problematic for me, the fact that I really, really just have this baseline foundational concept that everything ought to be harmonic. And I keep getting this like wake up call over and over and over that like that is not the case. And I better not hear anyone in the comments lecturing me because I swear to God, nowadays, if I see anything that I don't like, I just block it forever. Like you are gone forever. So that's you're not getting any more of a warning than that. Bye bye. I don't give a fuck. And we call that, you know, preservation basically. And I think that there's something. The more that I move forward in this life, the more that I see how important it is to not give a fuck, stop giving fuck, stop caring. And I don't mean stop being a kind person. And no, I don't mean kind. Wrong word. I don't mean stop being a person who is virtuous, who is balanced and loving and serene and cares about the preservation of balance and value and serenity. Okay. I mean, stop caring about everything else. I mean, stop giving a fuck about things that are taking away from balance and serenity and love and goodness. That is what I mean. And that is really, really, really important. So, like, I noticed that, like, you know, relationships are such a huge part of life. Like, relationships are more important even than education because there's so many people out there who have so many awesome, awesome, awesome accolades, right? And nothing to show for it, really. Really nothing. But if you know somebody, oh, you're in. And like that's life, relationships, you know? Relationships, I think they're like the most impactful and influence more of your life than any single other thing out there. And in this particular niche that I've been looking at in terms of manifesting and relationships, which to me, it's so much bigger than that, right? Like this is all wrapped into the last like 20 years of research that I've been doing, which I'm a researcher at heart. Like I never, ever, ever, like I'm always a mad scientist. It is never not that. Like I'm such a mad scientist that like I've literally never met anyone who can keep up with me, minus like maybe a handful of people that I could perhaps count on my hand. Okay. And besides probably a lot of academics out there, which I don't really meet because like I'm not academic in that sense. I'm academic in like a very more personal sense. But Lord, so many things. So what's going on with people is they keep caring about how they're being perceived by others instead of knowing who they are and what they are and that being enough. And I am one of those people. And this is so detrimental to my well-being. And I think that the same is true for everyone. I don't think that there are any exceptions to this. I think that when you care about what other people think about you, I think that it is always detrimental. And so why do we keep doing this? And I think that like there's a lot of aspects about this to look at, because there's a few things, right? So how do I begin? What do I start with, right? So I think that there's this perception that if you're not aware of what other people are thinking, that you're just going to be a jackass. And like, that is not true unless if you are inherently a jackass. And who is born being a jackass? There's like not many. And what do I mean by that, right? What do I mean by jackass? And yes, I'm just being myself and saying what I feel like saying. So if you have a problem with that, then let's please leave. Sorry, bye. Okay. So what I mean is, how many people are actually born being mean people? Is anyone really actually born an inherently mean, evil-natured person? I still have a very hard time thinking that anyone is actually that. I'm getting very close to entertaining that idea with much more precision and sort of looking at that more. And this could be argued like, oh, you create your own reality, blah, blah, blah. I'm just sharing with you my findings so far, okay? But, that's number one is, let's just take you, for example, because like you're the only one that matters here. So if you just truly be connected authentically to yourself and you just sincerely flow and be candidly yourself. I don't mean be careless. I mean like when you are balanced and connected with and grounded and connected with, centered in you, and now you're flowing, you're in flow and you're just being yourself, unencumbered. Like what comes out of that? You're probably not going to be a mean person. So here's another thing to look at is like, this is how we're born, just being ourselves. And then people around us begin to tell us all the reasons why it is wrong or stupid or bad to be just ourselves, why it's rude, why we shouldn't do that. And like maybe there's some truth to that. Like maybe when you're in a restaurant, maybe you shouldn't scream at the top of your lungs. Like I can agree with that, I think that's reasonable. But it's also the idea that when these ideas are being shared with us that, hey, like there's a reason why we don't scream at the top of our lungs when we're in a restaurant. And that reason is because there's many other people around us in a close proximity. And they're all wanting to have a conversation with each other, and they can't hear their own conversations if we are screaming at the top of our lungs over here. And so when we're inside this building and other people are present, we are going to speak in a way that is courteous to the people around us so that everyone can have their own conversations at their own table. And maybe when we go outside to a playground or somewhere where it's appropriate, then we'll scream at the top of our lungs. But who gets that kind of treatment when they're just being themselves? This is problematic because what ends up happening is knock it off. Oh my God. Blah. And even if let's just use the example of the parent, right? Even if the parent is not scolding you for your authentic self-expression in the moment, maybe there's an energetic understanding that they're fucking exhausted by you right now or something to that effect, And so energetically, we all speak the third language. The third language is energy. Everybody speaks that language. Now, to the degree that you're deliberately mentally aware that that is the language that you are speaking, that is something that, varies quite a lot. But we all do speak that language. And so, for example, with the child is receiving, and so are you, the adult, everyone is receiving the energy that the people around them are experiencing, especially in terms of like how that person is feeling about them. What I call care is so like caring about what a person thinks about you. The mechanism that is important here is the idea that what they are thinking affects what you think about yourself. And it distorts your connection to your identity and your authentic, true nature. And that is what is problematic. Not the idea that you know and understand what other people are feeling or experiencing, but the fact that it affects you in such a way that it distorts your own relationship with yourself and your identity. That is what's problematic. So people are experiencing this, especially in their romantic relationships. And this is why you feel like you're showing up in your relationships in a discombobulated way, in a way that is not the way that you want to show up, because your, let's say, telepathic or energetic interaction in that relationship is influencing you in such a way that you're feeling bad, like about yourself. There's something that's happened to your idea of your relationship with your authenticity and your relationship with your identity that has now been altered in such a way that you're showing up in a way that does not make you feel good at all, and you don't feel like yourself, and you know that you're showing up in a way that you don't want to show up, but you also can't help it. So that's why the title of this video is like, what is it again? I threw it on the floor. I do that a lot when I think I don't need something anymore. I just like, but okay. Don't let anyone define you. They don't know you. Right. Do they know you? Do they really know you? And if you, okay, how do I start? How do I even start with this? This has been one of the most heartbreaking things of my entire life, is like recognizing that people don't know who I am. They don't know my intent. They don't know that I'm nice. They don't know my intentions are good. They don't know my motivations are pure. They don't know that I mean well. They don't know that I haven't got a mean bone in my fucking body. Like, are people born with mean bones in their body? Like, are they? Because I don't think that they are. This is mind-boggling to me. Like, am I really that different? And like, are you having this problem too? Or like, at least maybe for another person, it's like, well, I was, completely true and sincere in this situation, right? And it doesn't mean that like you don't have a mean bone in your body about other things, but like in this situation, you were being sincere or whatever the case may be, and completely misunderstood about what was going on. That's like not only infuriating, but also heartbreaking. It's a lot of things. And you have to see, here's where your priority has to change. Instead of needing or wanting or functioning in such a way that you are relying on the fact that you are being understood, like you need to be understood, I don't think it's very good to function in a manner that requires that. Because, well, first of all, that's relying on circumstances and external factors in order for you to authentically know who you are and for you to have a healthy relationship with yourself. And I think that traditionally in spirituality and religion and metaphysics, and now it's science is caught up with spirituality. I'm sorry, it's there. Like, if you don't know it, it's because you're not studying it. It's also because they're not sharing it like that, but science is completely caught up. Well, not 100%, but like definitely caught up enough to explain all the things that we talk about. And so what I'm saying is that we know as a whole, we know that you kind of have to lead from within. It kind of begins with you. At least at some point, it begins with you somewhere, right? It's not to say that it isn't normal to have a response or reaction to the outside. It's not to say that, like be hard on yourself for feeling something when someone important to you definitely is not nice to you. Like, That I'm not saying that you should not have a normal human response to life. But what I am saying is that to the, the complete opposite degree, like I think a lot of people are completely reliant on the outside. And I think that that is just inherently something that we recognize as not a good idea, no matter what walk of life that you come from. But see, here's the thing is like you want to be a sentient, loving, connected being and have a co-creative experience. You want to feel and you want to care in a sense. But then at the same time, you also want to have some level of autonomy and your own connection to yourself, your own individual, independent ability to flow and be and define yourself and redefine yourself and to think your own independent thoughts and to have your own, opinions and ideas. And so, like, how do we do both of those things and then have like this in between, you know, place where we can interact with like other person or something outside of us and allow for that exchange to occur, that exchange of information where there's a there's a co-creative opportunity here. There's like an opportunity for like a third energy. There's lots and lots of opportunities for like expansion and for good ideas to come in when you interact with like something outside of you or someone outside of you. There's lots of opportunities for all kinds of energies to come about that you've never experienced before. But then how do you you do that at the same time? How do you like know that you're doing all of that for the right reasons and that you're not trying to impress someone or that your motivations are not impure? How do you know that you're also maintaining like your sense of yourself, but you're like observing in like a balanced way the outside, Wow, that's a lot of things, And so like this is why I don't go on YouTube, because this is all very fucking deep. It's like how many hours, like by the time that I'm done, which I can talk forever, by the time that I'm done, how long would it take you to study everything that I've said? Like this is a lot. I get that, But I mean, this is what I am and this is what I need to be. This is what I am. I'm like extraordinarily comprehensive and deep, and it's all very, very abstract to me. And I talk about multiple dimensions and realities all at once, and I sort of like to piece things together and cross-reference things, and especially like connecting the dots is a huge thing, Now, in my super life community, I spoke for a very, very long time, which I don't have my old teachings available anymore because I think that the best, most important thing is to stay up to date with what is happening now. Stay in the now, stay in the now, stay in the now, stay in the now, stay in flow, front and center. Here you go. Here's where it's at. This is what I think is important now. But I did spend an extraordinary amount of time, I think, or at least effort, on what I call transcending the ego. And I think that anytime that you're wanting to create, going deeper means getting to know the ins and outs of you even more, and what that is, what's in there, what's real, what's not. That's all really big, but only when you really, really have delved in there and when you really, really do know yourself, like what you really, like once you've been put in so many different situations that have made you feel in so many extreme ways, and like the patterns as far as what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do, how you react, how you don't react, even if you react in a variety of ways, there's going to be like correlations and patterns. There's going to be things that you never do. There's going to be things you kind of always do, That's all a part of getting to know yourself. When you do that and know thyself, you'll get to trust yourself. You'll be like, you know what? I know this to be me. And then no matter what someone else says, does, thinks about it, you'll be like, yeah, that's horse shit. Like, I know what is going on here. Okay. that's the healthy, good way to be. Because, here's the tragic thing. I can only speak of myself. I don't know what anyone else is born doing. Like, I have my own ideas or opinions, but obviously they're painted by the inner workings of my mind and emotional body. I only know myself. I can only paint that onto my reality. I know that in my experience, I was born good and wanting good. I was born just inherently harmony, like just harmony. Like what there doesn't need to be a problem about anything. Like what is going on here? Like, why is anyone upset? Like, why are you having a problem? Like, why can't we all, I think we're all just getting along. Aren't we getting along? Oh wait, we're not getting along. What the heck's going on? Like, I never really enjoyed entertaining negativity. I just didn't swing that way. Just always kind of optimistic and a believer in love. And I really believe in doing good and right by myself and others. But hey, if I have to do right to other people, if I have to do right by other people to my own detriment, like if I'm able to do right by other people, like no matter what, like I'm going to do that. Now, that's been a little problematic actually, which has threw me for a loop because I'm like, what in the world? There's a limit? Oh my goodness. We don't like limits, right? We don't like limits. And so here's the other thing is just being honest. And that's huge. Like a lot of people don't even learn that. A lot of people don't even learn like how to really be honest with themselves and like what you're facing and what is going on for you right now in this moment. And like because people have a lot of like um attachment to their definitions about things that are going on. And so it's like if you admit a thing that is going on, like right now with yourself, it's like now you've labeled yourself as a thing. No, that's not true. That's not true. Like nothing inherently means anything. You're the one who you're the one who attaches the meaning to thing. So let's say that we're talking about a relationship situation, and let's say that your person hung up on you and dumped you right now. But something like you can't admit to yourself right now that relationship is like the state of it or what's going on or whatever, because that would mean that like you're obviously like not worthy in some way. And this is a conversation happening on an energetic level. This is not even like a conversation that you're usually aware of on a mental level. Like you're not aware that you're thinking this. This is where like denial comes in. And that's also energetic. Denial is like, woo, deep, right? This is why studying the ego and being in awareness and presence, like all these really, really subtle things, that it's really just energy. Really tuning into that third energy and understanding all these things. And then you've got to kind of have the mental points of reference to put words on what you're feeling now. These are all skills that I like was studying for like years and years and years before I even got deep into relationships. And well, at least in some senses, I think I've always been into relationships. I mean, I think like one of the first things that I started studying very, very heavily was psychology, micro expressions, human behavior, very, very, very deep in, all of that, subconscious mind. I mean, you guys really don't know me at all. You really don't know me at all. My background is much more vast than you really know. And my application of my background is much more vast. And there's so much that I do know that I'm not able to share because like I'm not able to figure out how to format it or to even get the message out, because there's certain things that are extraordinarily complicated to explain to anyone, let alone an audience. Okay, so let's see what people are saying here. So I've got my computer here. Oh, wait, let's do this. Okay. Oh, better. Okay. So I have like my friends with me. This is my service animal. Her name is Goldie, after Goldie Hawn, you know? I think like this is a really good idea for a service animal, you know? She's like always there. Everybody likes Goldie. And nobody tells me I can't take Goldie with me anywhere. And wherever she goes, people like her. I think it's great. And she doesn't need anything. Okay, so yeah, I like wearing stuff like this. I've stopped caring about a lot. I understand completely. You know, I'm teaching today because I really honestly like enjoy teaching. I love teaching. Like I'm more like myself when I can just flow in that way. And like I've always like for years before I started doing YouTube or any of that, when I was a nurse, I was like, I can't stop teaching. Like I need an outlet because it was just naturally happening. And you know, like I went on YouTube and I started like just pouring my heart out, and like the amount of like the obscene amount of hate and resistance and just, oh my God, disgusting things that I've been met with just out there pouring my heart out, doing my very best for myself, for you guys, for humanity, for, you know, for the sake of being authentic, for the sake of following my heart. The amount of like traumatic experiences that has brought into my life, it's just that it's been very, 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 very traumatic, and it really matters. There's a lot of people on that are out there that are known that disappear because it is so hard to be seen, because you become a target. And if anybody doesn't like me doing that, me saying that, sorry, but I've experienced it. That has been my life. And it's hard enough, like anybody experiencing that, but especially me, where like I'm the kind of person that I have no one and nothing to fall back on except for me. Like if all the shit hits the fan, like it's me. That's it. Right? All in all. And so you got to do what you got to do, right? So if I have to disappear. But what does this all go back to? This goes back to you need to know yourself and stop letting other people define you, whether that's an audience, whether that's a group, whether that's one person, a friend, whether that is a family member, whether it's your romantic desire. Stop it. That is what I got on here to tell you today, because you're not talking to someone who grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth. You're not talking to someone who's been beautiful. Like maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe she woke up like that. You know what I mean? No. Like I've literally worked hard for everything my entire life. Even like the way that I look right now, like I've been working night and day to look like this. Now, oh, wait, that sounded really bad. Hold on. Let me rephrase that. I have so much depth in my life and I work so hard that I decided that I really, really want to just look appealing to myself when I look in the mirror, since I work so hard that I deserve that. Okay. So I've been doing that. It's self-love. Self-love. I think it's healthy. Not because I have to, but because it makes me happy. And that is fine for me to admit that I want and like. And look at how I felt like I had to explain myself explain myself because I'm on YouTube, and I know exactly what I'm going to hear because I've heard all the things from you guys 1,000 times. Oh my God, so fucking tired of having to think like that. You know what I mean? It sucks. And there's a lot of people who get on here and they don't make commentary like that. But I'm just real with you guys, and that's what a lot of people really like about me, is that I'm just real. I just say what's on my mind. And I think that I choose to not change that about myself because I can change whatever I want about myself. I've created myself. But if I believe that something is helpful, I'll continue to do it. And I believe that whatever is authentic is ultimately helpful. And this is why people are not authentic, because it is so difficult to be authentic. Who is doing that? Most of the people, like the great majority of people in the world, have given up on authenticity a very, very long time ago. Because it's like in the Matrix, or I don't know. I saw this it was this movie. I don't remember the name of the movie, but it was about this guy who he breaks into other people's dreams to steal information, and he was teaching someone else to do it. And he said if you stand out too much, the dream will attack you, you'll be attacked and you'll be killed. And I feel like that's what happens in this reality. But I'm not, I believe in goodness and authenticity and love. I believe in virtue so much that I am willing to do whatever it means to take a stand for what I believe in, and figure out how to fight the good fight to preserve what I think is worth preserving. And I've kind of been doing that. Okay, I've been doing that. But my question is why is this such a rarity? I'm really perplexed about why it is so difficult for people to be authentic and sincere and virtuous in this world. Why does it automatically make you a target? I mean, not that you have to really care, right? A lot of people are really good at figuring out how to, I don't know, I've heard stay in your lane. That's a good one. But those people, when they're really honest, they have bad days too. Oh yeah. And that's what we kind of like nowadays, is we like to hear about everybody's bad days, because I think one of the conversations that is happening that is a really important conversation is that what you see on the internet or on social media is the beautiful things, and it's not reality. And so I think all of the people who really actually are authentic and who do care about human, genuinely making connections out there with the audience will tell you about their bad days. And I've met or seen a lot of influencers who are very, very good at doing that. And guess what? You get a lot of shit for that too. And that sucks. And that's why good people disappear off the internet. However, I have seen some people not disappear off the internet. Wow. That's huge. That's huge. And so I think that what I'm trying to say is now I'll be personal with you. I don't really make decisions until I have collected a comprehensive amount of data. And that takes a lot of time and a lot of observation over a period of time from many different angles, many different angles. And I think that I'm deciding to come back into the limelight and share regularly. And I'm just going to be myself like I am with you now, and not give a fuck about what anyone has to say about it, because I've had my time where I felt like I wasn't able to show up for you guys because I couldn't deal with everything that comes along with that. And it was too debilitating for me, to be quite honest with you. But I also feel that it is necessary for me to I don't even want to use the word teach. I'm just going to say share. It is natural for me to just be myself and share and speak. It is important. and natural for me to connect and speak and share. It's important for me to do that every day. It's authentic for me and healthy for me to do that every day. And I lost my outlet because I was being treated like shit. Not that I haven't gotten a lot of love as well and many positive things as well. But like there are seasons. And then there are seasons that happen not on the internet and they happen on the other side of the camera. And what really sucks about that situation is that many things. One of the things is that I want to be able to trust that I can be myself. And at the same time, I have learned not to. And that saddens me greatly to not be able to trust the world that I'm in. That is so strange. So strange that anything that you say can be used to harm you because there are people who lurk and wait to hurt you. That concept is so foreign to me, but it's apparently true. I cannot imagine a person out there who actually lives in that fashion, just waiting to strike. That is a horrible way to live. But I know that at least one of my biggest fans is just like that. I have cyber stalkers myself who make videos on me, and it's really silly. Yeah, and I feel like you just have to stop caring. But another thing that I'm learning is something I really, really am getting so familiar with and really, really seeing beyond a shadow of a doubt and gaining all of the abilities that I need in order to be this. Like, I've got it. Okay, I've got all the things I need. I can do whatever I need to do. But I just don't like to think that you got to put somebody in their place in order to teach them a lesson. Like, I just don't like to think that that's the best way to do things. I don't like that. But if I think the idea is this, guys. I think that, if you are a person who was born or is like me, that you choose to sincerely live from your heart, and that your priority is to preserve virtue, especially in yourself, because you choose to live a certain way and that's just who you are, then it becomes imperative that you do whatever it is that is going to preserve that virtue. And I think that is a hard lesson learned, but paramount. And do apply this to your personal relationships as much as you possibly can muster. As much as you can get yourself to do this, apply this to your relationships. And there are many ways to do life, and there's many ways to do relationships, and I can mentor you through them all. But the easiest way, just pick someone who treats you really well. And if someone doesn't do that, then they're out. Is that harsh? No. They were the asshole to begin with. What the fuck? Like, hello? Don't get it twisted. Don't let people turn it around like you're an asshole for not putting up with someone being an asshole to you. What is that nonsense? See, this is like the kind of like manipulation that like is happening. It's like, you should put up with me, and like if you don't, like, you're an asshole. Like, wait, I'm the asshole because you're what? What is going on in this world? This is what? I can't believe this shit's going on, but it is. So, that's the lesson. That's the really, really important lesson, is stop feeling bad because you think that you ought to pay attention to something that's making you feel bad. That is it. Like, that's it. Think about that. Like, really, really ponder that and really, like, allow that to sink in. Like, really meditate on this concept. Because at first, you're going to be like, all the reasons in the world why you want to hold on to something that hurts. And I'm not saying that there is not any value to doing anything, because anything and everything can teach you something, and it does. That's inherently true in this place where evolution and change is the only constant. Yes. Like, okay, how do I I'm going to try to say something that is not going to trigger YouTube to freak out, but I'm going to try to make a point. So if you go out and do something very, very bad, the universe is made up in such a way that you will still learn something. The impact of that on you and of the universe will be an energetically equal amount of evolution. Okay, in a positive sense, ultimately. However, is it not better to not have to go through that level of learning and to just kind of be somewhere else and learn at a level that's much more pleasant, let's say? Now, I'm a person that I'm a wanderer, and I like to go and discover things for myself. And I do that to my own detriment for the purpose of learning and evolution, because I think that it's very important to have firsthand knowledge of things. Because I think all of the different firsthand perspectives, they really give you the best overall knowledge and idea. There's no better way to know a thing. But coming from someone who already has done that and does that, I promise you guys, everything that I teach you comes from a firsthand experience that I already have, that I would not be speaking of if I was not certain about it. Okay, everything that I speak is a certainty that I have already lived, and something that I know for sure. Because I think it's very, very important for me, as an influencer, as a person of influence, to share things that I know are helpful for certain. Okay, so that is what I always do. You don't need to go out and experience the hard things in order to learn something ultimately good. I think that you can skip them altogether and just do the thing that makes the best, highest, most sense. And what types of things would that be? So coming back to the title of the video, don't let anyone define you. They don't know you. Okay, well, begin there. If someone does not see, it takes one to know one. And here is why almost no one knows me. No one understands me. No one knows how I operate. Now, I would say that there was one person who really knew me and knew how I operate. Now, that person, my business partner, who is the one who teaches in the Super Life group. We're like twins in the sense that, I don't know, we're friends, and he's been studying me for at least 7 or 8 years. So that makes a lot of sense. He's been studying me very, very closely for that long. And so it makes sense that he knows how I operate. But there's also a lot of people who've known me firsthand for years that still don't know a lick about me, really. It takes one to know one. And so since no one, so far, I can say, no one is me or like me, no one knows me. So they don't know how I operate, who I am, how I think, what to expect. And this creates all kinds of strange confusion that should not be there, because I'm I know other people and I know what to expect. Unless if I'm giving someone the benefit of the doubt because I prefer it that way, but that's an old version of myself. Fuck that version, because that version of me got fucked over so many times. Fuck that. It takes one to know one. And so since no one is me and no one is like me, that means no one can understand me. And that tells you something about a person. So, like, the more that someone understands you, the more that they are like you, because that's what it takes to understand you. And you also have to be aware, not weary, not paranoid. I don't mean be fearful. I'm not saying any of that. You have to be aware of people who are able to like mirror and mimic and pretend that they know you and are like you, because apparently there's people out there that think that there's like a good reason to do stuff like that. And that is an interesting layer of complication to add to a life situation. Very interesting thing to discover about a person, that they were pretending that they were like you. For what purpose? I wonder. Well, when you don't know who you are, then you'll just kind of be a chameleon. And that's why it's so important to really study and know and get to know who you are, and so that you can be authentic and like yourself and not have to be like other people because you like being you. So like this goes back to why you should take time learning something like the art of presence or awareness or stillness or whatever you want to call it. Like these are just things that people are like, I don't want to do that. That sounds like not really fun, blah, 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 blah. I do want to manifest my person though. So can you tell me how to do that? But it's like, you can't, how are you going to manifest like what you want if you don't know yourself? Like the more that you know yourself, the more that you know what you want, at least that. And so that's a huge problem that people are having, is like, they want to manifest whatever it is that they want. They want to manifest person, let's say, but they don't want to get to know themselves. That's like the boring stuff that is like, they don't want to do. And I don't want to like really speak in a way that is like generic and annoying as far as spirituality goes, and say like, well, like obviously, like if you don't know and love yourself, like obviously, like how are you going to manifest a mirror who knows and loves you? You never really reach the end of the rainbow when it comes to getting to know yourself, because like you're the universe. And like there's always another facet. And by the way, you're always evolving and developing and changing. And so there's always more to get to know. And so I'm not, but at least give a damn and give it a good, honest try, and at least be kind of consistent, you know? And the more consistent, the better. In fact, I said earlier that, I like that when I look in the mirror, I like what I see. I want to like what I see when I look in the mirror. I mean that physically, but also on every other dimension of reality, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. You should like yourself. And I say should is like a bad word. Like, oh, you should, blah, blah, blah. This is not a judgment. I'm not like condemning anyone, and I'm not shaming anyone, and I'm not telling anyone what to do either. Ignore me and leave if you don't like what I'm saying. Please do. Follow your joy. But what I am saying is that, don't you want to like yourself when you look in the mirror? And I don't mean only, your beautiful face or figure or body or whatever. I mean, don't you want to like yourself? And that's the purpose here, is like your own quality of life is the purpose here. It's the purpose of this video. It's the purpose of YouTube. It's the purpose of your life, your own quality of life, your own enjoyment. So everything here in this life experience is for your your enjoyment, for your pleasure. Okay, everything is for your pleasure. And so when you think of it that way, if you thought of life that way, like let's say that all of life, you're like, this is for my pleasure. Wouldn't that help you like eliminate all of the things that don't matter? Like even if you get a job, like people work jobs that they don't like to make money to pay bills because they feel like they have to, right? Well, because that way of doing things is the way that you've decided is the most pleasurable way of doing things. Ultimately, that's still a decision that you made for your pleasure. Nobody makes decisions for any other reason. So what if you just like learn that like more ideas, and you get more know-how and knowledge about how to like do things in a more pleasurable way, in a way that like makes existing pleasant? Because let me tell you, you can't not exist. How about that? You can't not exist. Like, it's going to go on. The show is going to go on. Okay. Welcome to the Jasmine show. The show must go on. And so here we are, all figuring out what's the best way to have fun and enjoy this life together, and what is co-creating, and what is relationship, and what is me, and what is you, and what are we going to do with all of that. And I think, after for myself, going on this journey where I was never satisfied with, and I'm a great teacher. Like, I've learned how to be a really, really, really good teacher, let me tell you, because I know that I'm smart, and I know that I can tap into genius in the universe. I know that I know all these things that are just not ordinary things that people are able to do. And I've used all of my talents and my awareness and my abilities to like learn how to help other people. Like, that's just what I've done. And I was never satisfied with my ability to teach. And I just needed to be more. I need to do more, be smarter, better. I need to somehow do it better. But I'm not here to teach you guys anymore, because that sucks. Because I can't teach anyone. I can't teach. Like, no one can teach. I can just be myself, and I can just talk. And the byproduct of that tends to be that people benefit. And if you're noticing that, then that's why we're here, I guess, if you want that, right? So let's get it in one room together, and I'll just talk and be myself, and then you can benefit. And if you learn something, cherry on top. How about that? And I think that the way that I'm illustrating this kind of points to the idea that we call detachment, which is like how we want to do things in life, I think. Because isn't that a more pleasant way of going about things, rather than trying to accomplish something all of the time, which is a plague that I would like to remove from my life entirely. And if you agree, then click the like button below, because as much as I would like to just sit here and talk and be myself, I also know that it is probably good for me to remind all of you that if you like my content, click that button that says subscribe. Oh, and when you do that, click the button that says all, and that will like notify you every time that I'm going live, so that you catch me live all the time, or you get a notification whenever I'm going live. Click the like button, because that'll tell the algorithm that my videos are good, and then other people will find them, and other people might benefit. That might be good for everyone. So yeah, kind of throwing in some of that other stuff. And in the description below, I have a super life community to speak of, which is an economical way to connect with me and my teachings and talk. Community, right? So I think it's about talking. I don't think it's about getting anywhere. I don't think it's about and like, this is, a lot of people are like, how fast can I get my person or my thing? And like, if I hire you for like a month, like, can I get this thing? And it's like, that is what we call conditional way of being. And I don't want to agree to work with anyone like that. Not because you're not a perfectly perfect person in every way, but because I know that I'm not going to promise anything, because I want you to learn how to be chill and how to have fun with your life and not be so attached, right? That's the energy that I want to work with. And I really, really feel that way so much more when I'm just able to sit back and candidly share my life experiences with you all and what it makes me think, because I find, like I said, that that's just helpful, and I enjoy being helpful, but I don't enjoy trying. And so this is going to be like my new way that I show up all the time. And I'll probably be showing up in the group a lot more, because that's another outlet for me to, write, at least. I have a little bit of an aversion to working in the traditional sense, for reasons that I mentioned earlier in the video, that like, it's traumatizing. But I do also have a really, really, really good support system and people who are just wonderful and have stood by me. And we've created like really, really good, you know, strong relationships in the group and stuff. And I think that if you're looking for a community where you can just talk and be yourself and get support, that's what I've got. Super Life, description below. Now I do have one-on-one available, but this is like a completely different ball game. I don't really like working one-on-one with a bunch of people because I like kind of picking one person and like if you work with me, we're going to be friends. I'm sorry, but like that is it. Like that is how it happens because there's like it's so much more than just work to me. This isn't work, this is life to me. This is me. This is me being myself. This is not work. And so I kind of like it's kind of like I mean we're going to be friends. And so it's like a much bigger commitment. And I'm really looking forward to working one-on-one with some very special people that I know are coming into my life that we're just going to just add to each other quite a lot, quite a lot, quite a lot, quite a lot. Because it's not really about me helping you. It's about you knowing that when two frequencies come together, on like one and like they're matching on like a certain frequency, the third energy that is born from that is so much astronomically bigger than either one could do on their own. And that's the kind of, I guess you could say, business one-on-one relationship that I build with people. It's like, oh yeah, that's a match. Good for you. Good for me. Bam, done. So life is for my pleasure. Yes, life is for my pleasure. Okay, I think I really like this, like the way that this looks. I think I like the lighting. I think I like everything. This is super cool. Anyways, I'll be around. Let me know what you want me to talk about. See you later. Bye.